Jason, the Chargers allow, the only team I think in the NFL allows 5 yards, per snap and per carry. And is there a temptation to look at those stats and maybe be deceived or whatever? How do you handle when is it just film work you work with, or you look at both stats and film?
Well, yeah, I mean, you always look at stats and then you go back, but the biggest thing is looking at the film and trying to figure out what you think is there and things that, we think is going to work for our team. And then, you got to be ready to adjust during the game for whatever's happening out there on Sunday. So I think you're always factoring all three of those things. And, up until this point, that's what they've kind of had throughout the course of the season. But, they can change. They can put different, looks out there. They can do a bunch of different things. So I think you got to be ready for anything.
People have been asking, what's the identity of this Eagles offense? And last week, what you did on the ground, is that a one-time thing, or can that be the identity, that physical play?
Well, I mean, we can definitely be physical. I think we've shown if we need to be, or if we're asked to be, we can definitely do that. I get careful to say, like, people say, is that the formula for success for us, or is that your identity? The moment you make it a formula or an identity or whatever, you become predictable. And I think at the end of the day, the last thing you want to be on Sunday is predictable. I want to go out there and win football games. And we have a good offensive line. We can definitely run the ball. We have good backs. We have a quarterback who can do it all. And I think that we're very fortunate in that regard to be able to do a lot of different things. So, I think that I don't like pigeonholing anything into, we're X or this is what we're going to do.
In the summer, you talked about how excited you were for this season to be able to not have, the restrictions from last year, have lunch with the guys, create that camaraderie a little more. Are you feeling that? Have you been able to do that? Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly better than last year. I think, the cafeteria being opened up is just, I swear to God, that's probably cafeteria in the locker room is the only reason I'm still playing football, most likely. Getting to sit and talk around the guys and, connect, whatever you want to call it, just, that's what's really fun about sports. And it's been awesome to be able to do that this year. And, with all the protocols being a little bit relaxed, we have really, really high vaccination rate on the team. So, guys are out talking to each other, and it's kind of back to what it used to be somewhat, and it's a lot more fun.
A few weeks learned about Boston Scott as a player and a person in your guys' time together.
Man, I don't think I've learned anything new currently. I mean, he's a guy that's going to go out there, play his hardest every single time he gets an opportunity. He's one of those guys that's kind of, because of his size and stature, I think often, that weakness gets, over, what's the word I'm looking for? Gets too much credit, right? Because he's got all these other things that are really, really good strengths. He's really quick. He's really good with his reads. He's very good in a lot of different areas. And every time he gets an opportunity, he shows that. There's a pretty good short running back here for a while. So I think, Boston's got strengths that can help us win football games, just like a lot of guys out here do. So I'm really happy for him, happy for Jordan Howard. Both those guys have kind of been guys that were, Jordan been on the practice squad. And for those guys to go out there and have the games and help us win a football game like that and prove that they have value and they're good players.
A few weeks ago, I saw a post game that you broke down the team. You used roots as as the call.
Yeah.
I was wondering, was that a deliberate backing of your coach after a week where he was kind of taking some heat for that? And do you feel like the team's kind of rallying around him?
I don't want to put too much. He asked me to break it down. It wasn't premeditated. I just went up there and roots felt right. That was the theme of the week. We won the game. But the whole point of this thing is that we just are supposed to keep growing and keep getting better. We're still not where we want to be, still not good enough. So it just felt like the right thing to do.
You mentioned the plan going into the game, you adjust from there. Nick had mentioned you guys on the offensive line specifically said we're running, let's keep it going, let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Did that change a little bit this week? Is that typically how it happens, or did he put a little bit more emphasis on it from your guys' perspective, do you think?
I'm trying to understand the exact question.
So sort of, Nick
Yeah.
said he went to you guys were having success running the football. The
Yeah.
offensive line specifically said, let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a little bit different this week or not?
I mean, not really. I mean, Nick's pretty open to suggestions and stuff like that. I think he's, at the end of the day, he's the head coach, and the play caller is going to do what he thinks is right. But especially for me being an older guy, I feel like I can always go and talk to him. And it just so happened, we were having really, really good success. So of course we want to keep doing it. But I'm also not going to say something if I don't know it. And I felt like, the way we were moving the ball, the way we were hitting blocks up front, and the running backs are running the ball, it was a good day for us.
A few weeks ago, you alluded to you perhaps playing some of your better football, if I interpreted it correctly.
I said that about me?
Yeah, I believe so. I have to go back in the court. All right,
All
maybe not. But do you feel like you are playing as well as you ever have?
It's tough. There's so many variables that go into playing well. I've played next to really, really unbelievable players in the past who have elevated my play. I've played next to young players in the past who make me be a different person out there because their experience is a little bit less. So you got to do a little bit more. The plays that get called, the route, the way the games are going. So I don't want to say that I'm better than I've ever been before. I think I'm playing good football. I think for the most part, all of us up front, and I think most of the guys in general are playing good football. I know that the record doesn't show that offensively, but I think that as we continue to learn more and more about ourselves, we are finding that we have guys that have strengths and have things that they're good at, and we're starting to figure that out more and more.
Jason, when you see Jalen Hurts running for that first down on 3rd and 12, I think you guys were like at your 8 or 9 yard line, got the first down.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys know he can do that, and
It's
he
huge.
has shown it. But what does it say about like the total evolution of how he's playing like this season, like knowing when to run, when to pass? I mean, is that kind of something still evolving?
He's always been able to scramble and run with the ball. But he's continuing to get better as a player, as a quarterback. That evolution is continuing to happen every week, and you see it. It was a tremendous play by him, and it just adds another thing for the defense. I mean, if you're going to rush 5 and you're going to do all these games and stuff like that, you better be disciplined, because it just takes one guy losing a gap, and it's a big play like that. And that was a crucial point in the game too. It was a big first down pickup, and there were a couple moments like that Jalen really made an unbelievable play that kept drives going or kept the momentum going. And, that's definitely something that, I like watching.
Why has it been such a challenge to win at home? All your wins are on the road.
Yeah. I don't think
I
it,
think this is the furthest you've been in the season where you haven't had a home.
Well, we've been really, really good at home. Through Doug's career, we were really, really good at home. And I think part of that is if you look at our crowd, the noise they bring, the way our defensive line played under Jim Schwartz was just get off the ball. And when you're playing that way at home and teams are on silent cadence, and it's hard to mask when that snap's coming so you can get an even better jump. So I always felt like with that defensive style, it lended itself even more to playing at home for the defense. But this year I can't say that there's any rhyme or reason. We were close against San Fran. But for the most part, it's just kind of been the way the games have went. I don't think it has anything to do with home versus away. I still think that home field advantage is unbelievable to Link, and eventually, as long as we keep improving as a football team, we'll start winning there.
Hey, Jason, I've seen you spend some time with Lane Johnson lately. I don't know if more than usual, but Lane came out publicly and discussed what he's been going through, and he's trying to help some people. What did you think of him kind of letting that out there, and how he's doing with everything now?
Yeah, Lane's doing great. He's in a good place right now. I don't want to speak for him, but we're all obviously really, really happy to have him around. He's an unbelievable personality, great person, great teammate. I'm sure that talking about this stuff in some ways is cathartic, and bottling things up is usually pretty rough now. Normally he's a pretty private guy and he doesn't like to talk about this stuff. So for him to do that, I hope he's in a good place, and for everybody else to see that is going through stuff like that, or having troubles. It's just further evidence that you can, the grass can be greener. You can get out of it. There's light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you go seek help and try and get better. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that got a lot out of that, and he's pretty courageous to be able to say that in front of millions of people.
I just want to follow up on what you were saying about Jordan and Boston. They're both very good in the red zone, in the deep, inside the 5, through their whole careers, one of the best in the league. What makes a runner effective down by the goal line?
I mean, they hit it. Boston, he might be small, but he hits that hole hard as hell. And Jordan is not small, and he hits hard as hell. So, I think that, they have a knack for finding little creases, and, you don't need to spring a big run. It's a little bit different down there. All you need is, just a little window. And if you hit that thing hard, it's going to be hard to be stopped for 1 or 2 yards. So they both have a knack for it, a feel for it.
Nate Herbig obviously had to come in early. You mentioned some of those moving parts around you over the past couple of years. He played well again. What does it take? You're a starter, so maybe, but for a guy who's got to come in just like that, how difficult do you think it is, and how impressive is it from your perspective?
Well, it's really impressive, especially when you consider he's not just working on one position. Nate's the backup guard on either side and the backup center. Matter of fact, most of the snaps he's getting during the week are at center. So for him to go in at guard and to perform well, and as well as he has this year when we've asked him, it's a testament to who he is and how he prepares. But yeah, Herbie's he's a great teammate, great player. He's always been able to go out there and get the job done, regardless of who he's playing or what we need him to do, and the situation. He makes the best of what's going on, and those are hard ones. When you find guys like that, they have real value. Before him, Big V was a guy that had to do that. Before him, Isaac Seumalo freaking did every position across the board, and now both those guys are starters in the NFL. Obviously, Isaac's hurt, but Big V's playing guard up in Detroit and playing pretty well. So, if you can do all that stuff, when you are a starter and you get solidified, it becomes a little bit easier. So, I'm really happy for Nate.